Hi guys, it's Isa. Today we're gonna do some fantasy LGBTQ+ recommendations. And starting with adult fantasy, we have The Priory of the Orange Tree. This is a standalone. Yes, it's a little bit chunky, but it's also very rich. The world building, it's fantastic, and it tells the story of two sides of this land, kind of like the east and the west, and they are very different. They have opposite mindset, different beliefs, and all of them have dragons. The thing is that one side believes that these dragons are good, the other side is not as clear, and the story is at its core a fight between good and evil in, this evil dragon that it's emerging again, and what will need to be done in order to defeat it. I thought the descriptions were very vivid. It's plot driven, so the characters, although we know about them, I wasn't like super into them, but honestly, such a good story. Kings of the Wyld, another adult fantasy story that it's in a sense a standalone. It talks about this medieval land where these group of people were kind of like
the masters. They were conquering and vanquishing monsters,
and one day they stopped doing that. And now it's like 20 years past and they are old, they are tired. And little by little, the band starts to be reunited again to start one quest, and honestly, is such a fun story. This, I believe, is a very good blend between a character and a plot-driven story, because a lot of stuff happens. It's very similar to a video game, like
quest after quest after quest.
But then the characters also had its depth, and I really liked it. Then we go to a somewhat lesser known fantasy series, which is The Ninth Reign. It's a trilogy, and it's almost a blend of fantasy with sci-fi, and it follows three main characters as they are mainly discovering what the heck is happening in this world, where every now and then there are certain wars that are repeated. These wars are called reigns. So yeah, up till this point, not cool to have recurring wars, but the things get worse, because in this world there are different races. We will have these elven people, we will have also these witches, the humans, and what we see is that these elvens were kind of like the ones fighting in these wars, and they have gotten very sick. They are now all dying, and they are now almost vampires, the remaining of them. But with this race dying, the remaining is a very confused society that don't remember who are they fighting, how to fight them. And these three characters that we will follow is a blend of the different species that we have. It has a somewhat slow pace, so it's very rich on understanding the different characters and how nuanced all of them are. But first book, if you are out of those that really want the plot going and really understanding from moment zero, it is not for you. But once that everything is kind of like pieced out, it's very satisfying.
House of the Cerulean Sea.
A somewhat classic story at this point when you were talking about queer fantasy stories. We will have this beautiful story where we will be following mainly this character. It's a workaholic really, and he makes sure that the children in the different orphanages are well taken care of. The thing is that these children are magical, so in this world there is magic, and he is one day proposed this mission of going into this house in the Cerulean Sea, and upon arriving he discovers that these 6 children are very dangerous, and of course they are so sweet. We'll have the devil, we'll have a sprite, we'll have this small dog, werewolf, and overall is a story that makes you happy, although it really touches on some serious topics. The Song of Achilles, the story about Achilles and Patroclus, and this story follows the two of them since they were children. It's a grown-up story, and we will see how the two of them move through the different situations and how Achilles will need to decide between his fate and his love, all under the point of view of Patroclus, who is utterly fascinated and really adores Achilles. So a heart-wrenching. Last but not least, in adult fantasy, we have Black Sun. It's one of my favorite reads of this year. It's set in the pre-Columbian American civilization, which unique, but at the same time, the power of this story, it's the characters. At its core, a political and religious story. We have this event, this winter solstice that it's happening, and we know that at this point one of the gods is weaker and another god would like to take over. And the story kicks off presenting us the three main characters that we will be following. One of them is this dude that is convinced that he is this new god. The second one is this sailor, almost siren character that will make sure that this first point of view gets into this city where the solstice is happening. And the third one is one of the priestess that it's in this city. A good blend between character and plot driven, because you feel for the characters, but things happen. A lot of things happen. We move then to young adult, and we continue with a story that it's also all about its characters. And we have Six of Crows. It's placed in the Grishaverse, so in the same world as Shadow and Bone, but it's a slightly more mature version, I believe, because the characters are darker. They are grey, and they are not necessarily the good guys. They want to do a heist. The characters, the dynamics, the romances, the heartbreak, the longing. It's so good. I read it 5 years ago and I was like, meh, I don't understand the hype. And then I reread it last year because I actually didn't remember anything. And I loved it. I truly, honestly loved it. We changed gears a little bit with an urban fantasy story, Ace of Spades. In here, it's fantasy, but it's also horror and it's also almost thriller. It's a standalone, follows the story of two Black people that start college, and one of them it's very popular, the other one it's a misfit, and the two of them suddenly become the center of attention of this school. It has been pitched as Gossip Girl and Inside Out, the movie. Shadow of the Fox. For all of you that know the channel for a while, I know I'm fairly obsessed with this story. I'm not sure if it is even that good, but for some reason it has resonated with me. Love the world building, love the characters. The soundtrack that I heard when I was reading it, which I will link down below in the description, was fantastic. And overall, I just cannot recommend it enough. It's placed in this medieval Japanese setting, and we will have at its core a quest and a sunshine versus grumpy with a slow burn.
And with a lot of good stuff.
In a nutshell, the story takes off with Yumeko, who is a kitsune, so half woman, half fox, and she has been very secluded all of her life. One day, something terrible happens in the temple where she is living, and she is on the flee, beginning then this quest. Along the path, she will meet other characters. The first one that she will meet is Tatsumi, this grumpy character that is a shadow samurai. So he is very an introvert, and he is also very powerful because he has this sword where a demon lives within. So powerful. But they will meet other people along the path.
Fantastic.
And before we get into the honorable mentions, we have Dark Rise, which is again a story that I really loved. At its core, this story, it's a fight between good and evil. It's a very good blend between character and plot driven, and we have this world where they do not remember that a great fight already happened in the past between this good and evil force. The good won, but just barely, and now the evil is coming back again. Right, and then two honorable mentions: Fireborn, Dragons, Tournaments, the aftermath of a revolution. And then Foundryside, which is a quest and a hard magic system at its core. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what are those book recommendations that you would like to share. Sharing, it's caring. I publish bookish content every Tuesday and Friday for you to enjoy. If you want to stay tuned, click that subscription button, and I really hope to see you soon in all the videos. Bye.